Hey everybody, Boozor here. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to do something a little bit different. So I've been getting some requests to kind of like get a deeper dive into like my daily routine as a free-to-play endgame player. Also, like I said in another video, I do run two accounts. Both of them are mine. I built them from scratch, obviously invested a lot of time into them, but this is kind of how I run two accounts at the same time. I have one monitor with both games open side by side, and I have two RSL helpers managing both of them, and I play both of them at the same time. So you guys, in this video, you guys will be able to see how I jump back and forth, and maybe see the way that I kind of like structure things in my day. Generally, it takes me about 2 hours to do my dailies. That's including like one clan boss key. Usually, usually at the beginning of reset day. Sorry, when the day resets, I only really have to do one brutal key, just because my nightmare and ultra nightmare keys will be already done earlier in the day. So brutal keys only take like 5 minutes, and then hard keys take like 2 minutes or whatever. So they're pretty quick. They don't chew up a lot of time. But anyways, let's jump right into it, and we'll keep talking throughout. It's going to be a slightly bit longer video because it's going to showcase basically my whole day. But we'll talk through some things. And I mean, you might pick up some some info, some tidbits here and there, and if you can find it useful or incorporate it in your day, like that's great. So okay, let's get started here. So it's on 4x speed right now. So basically, I check the shop, check the stone shops on both, make sure there's nothing. I buy my market stuff, check the market right away. I'll check events as well. Usually, I start with Doom Tower if I need energy, because Doom Tower takes a little bit longer. It allows me to passively generate energy to do things. I always go with Iron Twins right away if I have excess energy or I'm near the cap, because Iron Twins uses a lot of energy. It's a must do every day. So I usually do that. I usually check the events before I start my day just to make sure I can double dip on anything if possible. So right now we don't have anything going on. Literally, it's just a free day. I finished the Ice Golem event that I want to, so I'm checking the bazaar right now, so I basically buy what I need to buy. I'm buying charms. I still do my arena fights, so I try to incorporate those whenever I can. Just because we need the Magi crafting material. Can never have too much of that. Alright, so I'm just checking the quests again. Showing my inbox of energy that I don't use until I have to. Okay, we checked the events, we checked the tournaments, nothing much going on. I'm not participating in the champ chase this time, just because I did use some sacreds for the extra legendary event, and I'm trying to save up for a possible guarantee sacred in a couple days. Yeah, we're gonna jump into Doom Tower. We need basically we need to do Doom Tower for energy. We just either get it through an award or we get it passively. So here it's less. This is just my like standard grinding Doom Tower hard wave clear teams. Nothing really special. I run Hern Dig on the left hand window, on the left hand screen, just to clean up some of the loader levels. It's slightly faster, I think, that team, just because it has the Hern Dig Hern Dig to take care of the stragglers. Sorry about that. I guess my headset doesn't charge anymore. That's it. Okay, so I shift from basically one screen to screen. So this is my screen. I moved the RSL helper away because there's some private info that I don't want to show on it on video, so I moved it away. So right now we're just yeah, we're just going through the Doom Tower. Each level takes about a minute. So just a typical tier reset, kill the first waves, and then wave you just kind of sustain, wait for your Duke to come back. Honestly, I haven't really optimized these teams for a long time. So I just kind of let it run. I mean, it's a minute, slightly less maybe run. Yeah. Doom Tower right now is just there's only going to be like maybe 1 or 2 levels like a month that will give some problems. Um, I don't care about secret rooms anymore. I farm probably like 90% of them a month. Um, it's fine. Got Ramantu, it's do anything crazy there. Um, yeah, and I actually don't have too much time to sit in front of the computer during the middle of the day. I might have some time like at the end of the day, but that's not always guaranteed. So actually, my gameplay is mostly spread out through a little bit here. And so the fact that this game is AFK, it's a AFK type game, is really good. All right, you guys are gonna laugh when you guys see these Nether Spider teams. Don't laugh. Don't use these teams because I don't know when I made these teams or why I made these teams, but they don't work very well. They don't work very well. Don't copy them. So I could optimize the, but honestly, I don't care. I never farmed this boss, and I don't even want to spend like an extra second like looking at him, like thinking about a team that'll work, or even building a team that'll work. Unless it's just like pick champions from my roster without building. But you'll see how much of a laugh this boss, this team is against the boss. Obviously, it's not very good because he's healing. He has heal happening because of the HP burns are giving him. Oh no, that's not right. The counter attacks are giving heals. Yeah. I guess the idea was supposed to be like, oh, you can nuke the little spiderlings and then oh, you're good. But obviously, my team cannot nuke the spiderlings. The other team has Geomancer, but there's still some heal going on. Not no heal reduction. So I'm trying to do the secret room here, and on the left hand side, I fail miserably. Okay, I'm not gonna do this. So I jump into so here I'm picking up whatever I can pick up. I'm checking out the quest to see what I can double dip on the quest. I know I need a spirit. I need 3 spirit wins arena, so I hop in and do that right away. Yeah, so arena is basically like click it and auto, and I don't really need to like think too much about classic arena because I don't care if I lose. Uh, if I play like a harder team, it's more for like testing purposes. Usually I just look for super easy teams, be efficient, farm them in 5 to 15 seconds, and carry on. I don't need the wins. Both my Grey Halls are maxed out. It's purely for the crafting materials. So here I got my energy. I'm jumping into Iron Twins, so I'm going to do Iron Twins for a bit. Yep. So both of them are doing Iron Twins. My right hand side account uses triple Painkeeper, Helicath, Geomancer team. Pretty consistent, minute and a half, 2 minute run. Good affinity, it's about a minute. And then on the left hand side, I use basically like 4 out of 5 clan boss champions, Ithrala and Cardio. So basically like a ton of buffs, a ton of protection, a ton of healing, a ton of damage from brimstones and stuff. Basically that's kind of the aim of that team. They just keep each other alive, they revive each other. They heal each other, and they do damage collectively. Poisons, brimstones, counterattacks. It's about a 3-minute run. Um, I don't have Geomancer on the left-hand side account, so my Boozor account, I don't have Geomancer, so I can't run a team as effectively as the one on the right. Sorry, yeah, the left-hand side does not have Geomancer. The right-hand side has Geomancer, obviously. You guys can see. That's kind of the reasoning why I don't just gear my Helicasts, gear 3 Painkeepers, and go, because I don't have Geomancer. I think the other DPS option is Armiger. I believe, I haven't looked too hard into it to be honest, but I think that's a pretty slow run too. I mean, like the current team, I don't switch any gear. All the champions are in gear that they already are in for other content. So I'm perfectly happy with the 3-minute versus like a minute and a half, 2-minute run. So here I'm probably like taking care of my kid, eating some food, taking a nap. Just being kind of efficient with the time. Yeah, it's like 10 minutes of this. These runs are 100%. They never fail. But this content, like you don't have to do if you're early game. So piece of advice for like early mid game players, this content you don't have to do. Um, Blessings are nice, but put that energy towards leveling leveling food, getting gear. Um, yeah, the odds of you getting anything good this dungeon is so low. I mean, any dungeon is very low to get anything good, but at least in a dungeon or a campaign, you can get some food that builds champions. All right, so the right hand side's finished, so I'm doing advanced quests. All right, checking my arena, anything I can do real quick. You guys have any comments about the arena fights? Yeah, by all means, let me know in the comments. You guys get a kind of a glimpse at some of my teams. Very quick glimpse. I know the speed is very fast, but it'd be too long a video otherwise, I think. So I basically run that's one of my offense teams. Slow Stone Skin, but I think it's not going to last that long. It's not going to be a very viable team for long, I think. Just because Sheep is so prevalent and I use Ramantu. Um, However, today they did release some notes about potentially adjusting some uh, some blessings. They did specifically mention Brimstone and Sheep, I think. I think. Well, they mentioned the most popular one. So those two are the most popular ones. I assume those two are going to get some kind of rework. It'll be interesting to see. Alright, so I'm doing my campaign battles. Still doing just like the quests. Doing my daily quests. But you see there's not too much like downtime. I'm basically just hopping between one window and the other window. So even though I run 2 accounts, it's not doubling my time. It's maybe adding 20% to my time. Unless I do something very specific, like if I'm gearing a new team, or if I'm gearing new champions, or if I have to level like in the tavern, that stuff takes time. So when that happens, basically I put something on auto, like clan boss, twins, or something, and then I'll focus on the other account that requires my manual attention. And that's kind of how I do it to maintain efficiency for time. So that's the way that I kind of manage both accounts. Here I'm doing Clan Boss while I'm doing the Iron Twins, but I'm just finishing up Iron Twins. So I decided to hop in for something as well, for Clan Boss as well. I think it's because my time was up. I might have been close to the timer Clan Boss key, that's why I hopped in right away. Or I was taking care of my kid at this time. It's kind of funny. It's like my kid needed to go to the washroom or something. Sometimes I just put it on the Clan Boss and then hop off to help out and then, needs me to go to the washroom. Yeah, so right hand side I run a mid thru Clan Boss team, and then the left hand account I run uh Valkyrie Valkyrie 2-1 comp, Lydia, Brogdy, Brago, and a Neri. It's not my highest damage team, but it's my fastest damage team on the left hand account. Usually I remove Valkyrie and I use Taragi, Frog. That team will produce way more damage, but it takes much longer. So I use Valkyrie instead because it's faster. Because I rarely go for top damage anymore. I just go for one key and I bounce. So here I'm probably I'm way over because I'm probably still helping my kid, but I'll pop back in. Oh, I'm back. So we got the keys now, so that means we got the silver keys. Here I'm gonna hop into Griffin. That's kind of what I do, right? Like these long things, if I need time, then I'll hop into these things that require time and then I just full auto it. So I choose to do tag team here on the other window because I have time to sit at the desk to manage one account. See here, I'm kind of adjusting my teams, tag team. I usually do tag team before I do faction wars. Get the faction keys first, and then I can do the super raids on the faction wars. So it saves you a couple minutes, especially if you have longer run times on faction wars. For me, my faction wars teams are pretty fast. Even my slowest teams are like minutes. Like one guy doesn't have gear or something, like a level 50 in there. So it doesn't really save me that much time, but it saves a little bit of time. Super raids, that is. So usually I do the tag team first, get the faction war keys, and then I'll run the super on the faction wars. Saves me a couple minutes. But if I don't do that, then I usually save tag team to the end because tag team takes dedicated manual effort for me. I don't like doing full auto. Uh, Even though some obviously I try not to do full auto because I want to win the fight. I don't want to just full auto and walk away. I don't really learn how to play the game. So I basically manual all my fights until it's like a sure win and then I'll auto it. You see me kind of like rejigging my teams a little bit. So I'd kind of do this all the time. And if there is like if the next player I play uh, will will fit into my teams that I already set, then I'll keep my teams. But I don't mind changing my teams for every defense that I play against. So the right hand side right now is in gold 4. He's in right now, so I'm just trying to get some wins. But gold 4 is definitely really hard. Not really hard, but like it is hard. But it also requires a lot of time because not a lot of slackers in gold 4. You know what I mean? Like they're putting in a lot of fights, so you're dropping a lot because the threshold raises a lot. So it's really hard to stay in gold 4 if you're not active. So I'm putting in some fights. Now I'm managing the other account. There's six crystals there, shards there, so that was kind of nice. Still doing a quest, so I do that. Still looking for fights on tag team. Not too happy with my selection, I think, so I refresh the page. find one that I kind of like. Like I know my account well enough that I know which fights are manageable. Obviously, you still consider you don't want to do fights that'll take like 10 minutes. So if I can do fights like 1 minute each, that's pretty good. Like 1 minute manual, I think it's really good. But yeah, I can only really do it if I have dedicated time, and usually that's at the end of the day. That's why tag team gets kind of delayed for me personally. But you can see like I'm kind of like doing stuff on the other account, so I'm playing faction wars, just trying to be efficient with that account. Um, I did mention like I do tag team first and then faction wars, but I can't do tag team in two windows at the same time. So um, I'm basically just cutting out some time right now by doing the other side's faction wars without super raids. It's still fine. So I'm still working through the tag team. Don't look into the teams too much. Uh, Obviously, I'm managing two accounts, so it's sometimes you just make decisions and just go with it. I do feel like most of my champs they're fine. They can handle Go 4, so whatever I throw in there, it's probably okay unless it's like like a totally blatant error. Like for example, like sometimes I'll throw Rotos on offense and then I don't see the ultimate Death Knight and it's just like shh, oh, it's gonna take forever. So sometimes that happens. So the other thing that happens a lot if I'm not paying attention is if I don't see an obvious debuffer that I need a cleanser. So for example, if I didn't see if I didn't realize I don't know like a bomb champion or something like Gaius. If I didn't see Gaius, then I'd just forget to bring a cleanser and then it's a rough time. Or sometimes I forget that Uko strips. Then I have a tough time if I bring like a stone skin setup team. But yeah, you might see that I have a pretty decent win rate on offense, just because I think obviously because I manual everything. Manualing definitely increases your win rate. I don't care what people say. It does take more time, obviously, but I enjoy playing this part of the game. I mean, most of the part up until now, it's been full auto. I mean, you gotta play one part of the game. Otherwise, it's just playing dress up, right? You're just playing dress up, dressing up a bunch of dolls and characters. I mean, that's fun too, but like, you gotta mix it up a little bit. So, tag team and Hydra, I don't mind manualing those two formats. They're fun. You learn how to play. I think I'm really focused on this tag team fight right now. More two is always like, more two is fun. This team, I kind of just slapped it together. I'm not even sure if it even properly. It's obviously not speed tuned. No, sorry, Sifi is speed tuned arbiter, but I never used them together. But I guess it worked. This team's like my high resistance, like tanky team. Basically, it's like a full auto team against most speed teams. It cannot die. It just doesn't die. Even against Warlord lockouts, it's most Warlords don't have enough accuracy to lock them out. Okay, so now I'm doing the opposite. So now I'm doing Doom Tower on one, and then I'm gonna farm Tag Team on the other now, because now I have dedicated time to that window, that game, right? So on the left-hand side account, it's a lot weaker than the right-hand side account. So the right-hand side account, it's my platinum. Sorry about that, guys. My mic is having some issues. I guess it's not charging. So back into it. So my right hand side is my platinum account, and my left hand side is my original account, my original main account. But I've since shifted a lot of focus to my left hand side account. Um, just because the champion selection on my left hand side account is basically like busted for like a free to play account. Um, it has basically every like most of the meta champions for arena, which is basically the end game for raid, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, for sure. So the right hand side account, it doesn't. It actually struggles for a lot of things. So I shifted focus to the right hand side. Um, the right hand side, both accounts don't have very good nukers. Um, in terms of like offensive damage nukers. But the right hand side one has much better defensive defensive champions, which is a big part of arena, right? So we're in gold 3 on the left hand side. Um, Not overly difficult, and I find it easier to farm. Easier to farm. You see like teams that are slightly weaker. Gold 4 is definitely hard, obviously because it's the highest tier. It's obviously very hard. It's not uncommon to see like 3 teams with 3 necrits or stuff like that. Um, this account, it kind of can handle most things, but it doesn't have a good like tank soak up damage, like reliable um, team, go second team. Mainly because it doesn't have a champions like Necrit or Duchess, but the addition of the Python fusion will really help. It will really help. So yeah, happy to have him. Happy to pick him up on this account, on both accounts. But yeah, the last significant champion I picked up on this account was actually Hegemon. Hegemon is really helpful in the speed race because the speeds on my left hand side account, my Arbiter speed is not super great. My right hand side Arbiter is much stronger. Obviously, it should be strong enough for anything in Gold 5, but it's not going to be anything. It's nothing in Platinum, so I don't use E teams very often. Um, but yeah, I can, I do the best I can with the champions I have. So, especially with the left-hand side account, it's definitely been really hard to do some content, especially like tag team Gold 1 was really hard with that account. So I had to get really creative, especially go second teams, and especially when my Arbiter was basically losing half the fights against other speed teams. You have to be a little bit creative trying to win, trying to find wins. Nowadays, it's fine. Nowadays, it's just how fast you can farm some teams. Again, I don't mind doing like 1 minute fights. I don't mind doing, yeah, it's kind of fun. So faction wars like super fun, super fast. Like my faction war teams are like a minute, minute 20, minute 30, minute 40. So super fast. They could be optimized even more, but I don't really look into it too much. I just use basically my good champions that are level 60 that do a lot of DPS, and that's it. If I don't have any DPS on the roster or in that faction, then that's it. I'm not gonna make a DPS champion just for the sake of speeding up a run, unless I find that the champion is good or decent. For example, like my barbarian faction wars is actually very poor. It's like 3.5 minutes or something. Mainly because I don't have a pure damage dealer, so I like 6-starred Jakar and gave him really good gear and stuff, and my time went down like 10 seconds. Yeah, he wasn't super strong. But I should probably take Valk out of that team because she just makes runs so slow. Yeah, so you guys might get a couple sneak peeks in my tag team playstyle. maybe I'll make a video in the future doing some tag team fights. I just don't know how interesting it'll be to go through them at normal speed. Uh, just because each fight takes so long, and the video would be like 30 minutes long, so. Yep, so I'm using up extra energy on the Sand Devil right now because there's no dungeon tournament, there's no anything, no training, no nothing that needs to be addressed or needs to be dealt with. So in situations like this where it's kind of like a slow period between fusions, I basically just do masteries, grind other resources, um, grind dungeons that I need stuff on. But I'm not going to put a lot of energy into dungeon related stuff just because there's no divers, there's dungeons that have extra rewards that I want. I could farm for gear, but that's kind of just like that's like nothing when you're talking about like 200 energy. So at this point, grinding the Sand Devil it makes the most sense. I need some of the Ascension stuff. So this team works really well. Ninja, Godseeker. I built Godseeker specifically for this. My ninja had to take his gear off and gear him up properly for this content. This left-hand side account, I haven't built this yet because my Neri's in Clan Boss and my ninja is doing something else in Relentless. But I can't take the Neri out on this account, not yet. So I have been thinking about changing my Clan Boss team because I've been using the same team forever, and I kind of want to use them in other content. But I haven't really thought of one yet. I want a one key full auto smooth brain type of team, right? Just click it, go. And actually today I failed. I failed at one key, first time in a long time. Probably because my Brago missed an attack down, and that was it. But usually if I miss an attack down, that team still survives against the bad affinity. So there's maybe a sign for me to change up the team. Yeah, so I'm just doing the quest right now on both accounts. This one I'm just doing glyphs. So at this point I'm basically done. My day is basically done. So all the other things I need to do is like regeneration related. So I can regenerate arena tokens, do those, regenerate energy, do a couple more other things like spam spider or throw it into the Sand Devil. That's probably what I'm going to do. I have a couple pots of energy that I need to run, but I'm just going to sit on it a little bit and then see if I need to run anything specific. So if I need masteries on a champion, I'll look, maybe I'll do them on that champion with the extra energy. But I have like roughly one extra daily energy pot that I need to use on both accounts, and that'll take like it could take anywhere from like 2 minutes to 10 minutes. So it's not a big thing. But basically at this point my day is done. All right. So I'm checking the ice golem tournament. I realize I'm 13th, but I'm very close to the 10th place. It's the leaderboard, so I might just throw some extra energy into ice golem just so I can get some of these low rewards. That's kind of like how I think. I'm like, oh, I might as well throw like 100, 200 energy to try to win back 100, 150 energy, which is kind of getting just like free gear, free silver, free XP. I don't mind farming Ice Golem now because I solo farm Ice Golem, and I just level food at the same time. But yeah, so also there's like a silver event right now, so this takes actually some time to think about stuff, but I do realize that I don't really need to change gear much because I did a pretty big account gear change when the free gear event was happening. So and that was like less than a month ago, so I don't really need to look into too many things. Uh, yeah, so my day is basically done. I have one more clan boss key that I need to do, and I'll do that whenever the time's up, 6 hours from now or whatever, and then um, yeah, I'll just take care of like regen energy, regen before I go to bed, and I'll take care of the arena tokens. And then yeah, I'll have a look at some of my champions for gearing, and that's it. And I'll do like some maybe clan stuff, or I'll play with the optimizer a bit, or I'll check out Reddit. Okay. So that's, I mean, that's just a typical day. It's a pretty slow day, in between time, in between fusions and stuff. So roughly, roughly 2 hours, real time, maybe slightly less. I was playing a bit more efficient today, just because, you know, obviously I'm streaming it and stuff, and I had some time at my desk. So, but yeah, that's generally how a day looks for me. Usually it's a bit more broken up, but yeah, I hope you guys can take away something from this, learn to something, can apply it to your own games and strategies. I'll try to think of more tips, because I feel like maybe it doesn't show or do enough justice. I don't know. Maybe you guys are expecting more, but I mean, this is kind of just how I play. It just feels normal for me. I don't know if you guys are expecting, you know, me to have like some magic tricks or anything, but maybe I do and I don't realize it. But if I think of anything, I'll let you guys know. If you guys like the content, make sure you guys hit like and subscribe. I guess I've been trying to grow the channel a little bit, just as a personal goal, nothing serious. This is purely a hobby. So, but comments and likes and subscribes are really encouraging. So they do keep me wanting to pump out more stuff. And yeah, anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for hanging out. It's a little bit of a longer video, but hope it was enjoyable. Take care.